multiple knives. The Fort Dodge Messenger is reporting a neighbor witnessed the interaction between the woman and police, and that neighbor reported that the woman ran at officers with knives in each hand and was shot by an officer. The woman was pronounced dead at the scene. The identity of the woman has not been released as of this time, and neither has the identity of the officer involved in the shooting. No further information was available at the time of this report. We plan to have more on this story as new details emerge. Representative Ann Meyer posted on her official Facebook page that the Iowa legislature is taking applications for their PAGE program for the upcoming legislative session. The PAGE program is a chance for high school students over the age of 16 to explore the possibility of working in government or becoming an elected official. People with questions can reach out to Meyer directly at her official legislative email, which is ann.meyer@legis.iowa.gov. The Webster County Public Health Department released a COVID-19 update Tuesday afternoon that says that as of Tuesday afternoon, there are 750 total positive COVID-19 cases in Webster County that have been confirmed. That's an increase of 49 cases since their last update last Friday. The cases are divided between Webster County communities and the Fort Dodge Correctional Facility. As of Tuesday, there were 409 cases in communities in the county. 321 of those have recovered and been released from public health isolation, leaving 88 active cases. At the Fort Dodge Correctional Facility, there were 341 cases, 283 have recovered, leaving 58 active cases. As positive COVID-19 cases increase, Webster County Public Health continues to remind residents to refrain from being in close contact with someone you're not normally around, especially if you're not sure of their exposure risks. If you're not sure of those risks, wear a mask. The Webster County Public Health COVID-19 hotline remains open by calling 515-227-7153. For KVFD from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. Cloudy skies expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 75. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast skies tonight, chance for scattered thunderstorms, lows level off around 61. Chance for scattered storms again tomorrow, highs around 82, more clouds than sun. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 73.
Here's great news. Studies show that including lean pork in your diet can help you lose weight while maintaining more muscle. We're talking lean, strong muscle. Eating lean pork helps you feel fuller longer after you eat, and it gives your body the high-quality protein it needs. Celebrate your success with a tasty and healthy pork dish. Find great pork recipes and cooking tips at pork.org/cooking.
Is it time for a new roof, or did your roof take a beating from Mother Nature? If so, here's some great advice from Hahn Roofing. When you're trying to decide on a contractor, never tolerate high-pressure sales tactics. Never sign a contract without a price. Never make a payment until your job is done. And never accept a job that is not installed to manufacturer specifications. No warranty, no deal. Make the right choice. Call Hahn Roofing today at 515-573-7440. That's 515-573-7440. Hahn Roofing and Owens Corning Platinum Contractor.
Michael Devine, the Doctor of Truth.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to confess?
That AM 1400 KVFD.
With your KVFD Sports Report, I'm Rob Jones. Fort Dodge native Judd Gibb will play in a PGA Major this weekend. Gibb is in the field at the PGA Championship in San Francisco in a group set to tee off Thursday around 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Gibb has played in PGA events in the past, but this will mark his first career PGA Major appearance. He's a long shot in the field, listed by Vegas Sportsbooks at 1,000-1 odds. Gibb is a former Iowa State golfer, and he's scheduled to be inducted to the Iowa Golf Hall of Fame this year. There's a temporary delay in planning for further upgrades to Hilton Coliseum at Iowa State. The original schedule had called for the Board of Regents approval last week to kick off the process of seeking bids for designs that would expand the arena's north and south concourses. Milt Dokovich is an Iowa State graduate and member of the Board of Regents.
The following is a true story.
I had a lady that was in her mid-70s, and I'd sold her timeshare, and that was the lowest I'd ever felt in my life. I knew then that I had to do something to simply not to go to hell for selling timeshare.
Chuck McDowell founded Wesley Financial Group to help folks cancel their timeshares permanently.
Called her and everybody that I'd sold timeshare to, and I said, this is what I said to you that was a lie, and this is what you need to do to cancel your timeshare. From that point, people started referring friends to me to help them cancel the timeshare, and that's how it all started. I fought the world's largest timeshare company in federal court. If I had lost that lawsuit, there would be no one helping people that have been lied to when they bought timeshare. If we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or we'll give your money back. That's what makes us different.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for a free information kit. 800-656-1155. That's 800-656-1155. 800-656-1155.
To Hilton Coliseum at Iowa State. The original schedule had called for the Board of Regents approval last week to kick off the process of seeking bids for designs that would expand the arena's north and south concourses. Milt Dokovich is an Iowa State graduate and member of the Board of Regents.
It was to be funded by athletic department operations and private giving. This is an excellent project and will greatly enhance this facility. Exercising an abundance of caution in these uncertain economic times, we have deferred this project 2 months to our September meeting.
The board is set to review all the athletic budgets for Iowa State, and the board cited the volatility surrounding college sports as the reason for not conducting that review at its meeting in July. The Big 12 Conference approved a scheduling model for the upcoming college football season. Iowa State, of course, is a member of that conference. The conference has not published its schedule as of this time, but has announced that the league will play 9 conference games and keep 1 out-of-conference game. With those changes, the conference will lose marquee matchups like West Virginia, Florida State, Oklahoma and Tennessee, and Texas versus LSU. The approved model does give the Big 12 flexibility to move back the conference championship game to either December 12th or December 19th. Every Power 5 conference now has determined its scheduling model for this season, and the Big 12 joined the ACC as the only leagues in the country to keep 1 non-conference game. The Big 12 says it expects to start conference play in mid to late September and expects member schools to play their non-conference game before the start of league play. I'm Rob Jones, and that's your sports update for Divine Intervention with Mike Devine on KVFD-AM 1400.
Michael Devine, the mayor of Manville.
It's a fancy title for a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
That's right. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice for Dodge. Here's the question of the hour. Are there any lockers in the area that are not full? Linda Klein is here with the ISU Extension Service. You don't have, oh, you took your mask off. Okay.
Yes, I did.
All right. Where'd you get, that's kind of a nice looking mask. Where'd you get that?
I know. Some lady down in Gowrie had made a whole bunch of them, and that person never picked them up, and so she gave them to the office for free and stuff. So, yeah, it has cats on it. So I'm the cat project leader.
Cats on it.
I know. So I'm the cat project leader. So I picked out that one.
My favorite one, I don't know how many I have. I have several now.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll go someplace and forget to bring my mask, so then I got to buy another one on the spot. But my favorite one has a ventilator in it.
Oh, okay.
And I have allergies anyway.
Sure.
It's a little difficult for me to breathe the heavy air in the summer. And now, granted, we haven't had all that humidity this year.
Right.
But that ventilator does help me.
Okay.
And anyway, I think we're doing fine in the state of Iowa. I mean, COVID's gonna do its thing, no matter what, I think.
Yep.
How can you really protect yourself? There are people screaming about masks. I understand. You can't really protect yourself from COVID.
We just got to keep washing our hands. And
I do that.
Yep.
I wash my hands.
Yep.
I try not to touch my face or my eyes. I do out of habit a lot, like just now.
Right.
But if it's that respiratory, you're going to run into somebody who has it.
Right.
It can't be avoided.
Yep.
Wear your mask wherever. I mean, it's such a big deal over these masks.
We just have to try. Yep.
Yeah, well, whatever. I don't have any problem wearing a mask. I got a couple of them in my car now. So.
Yep.
Anyway, what's going on at the Extension Service, please?
Well, we were closed, Mike, from March until we opened back up, probably on this Monday.
Really?
Opening. Yep. We had staff working either from home or at the Extension office.
So you had to go home, I suppose.
No, I came into the office. I like to work better at the office.
Okay.
And our doors, when the doors were locked, we had put in a doorbell here recently, and that worked out good if somebody wanted to come by. And we've been serving people, serving the public, and sharing information out. And so this week is just a soft opening, and people can just come in, put a mask on, and talk to what we need. We've been having some tree questions, especially now that the emerald ash borer was diagnosed here in Webster County. And so, but it's been around for so long that it really wasn't an issue. And the city of Fort Dodge has been dealing with the trees for a long time. So that, wasn't a major issue, but just getting out that information. So, we're in the office. We've just been sharing information and trying to help out what we can.
Yeah. What's going to happen with the ISU Extension Service office out at the Crossroads Mall? Because that thing's coming down.
Well, we're just going to watch them take pennies down and watch them take Yonkers down. That's the question all the time. We have a building committee that is going out, and we've been looking for the last 5 months when all this started to find a new place. So we've been looking and doing our research, and we'll get it figured out.
Okay.
We'll move someday. We have to move someday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will they tear down the building that you're in?
Someday, yes. When
Okay.
we're out of there. Yeah.
All right.
So we've been cleaning. COVID was a great time to clean our files, clean out records that you don't need anymore. So that's what staff has been doing too. So it's a good time to do that.
Okay.
So we'll move. It's just finding that perfect place with parking and spaces for the people to come in and park. So yeah.
Well, consider the mall area. I understand. I met one of the partners in the Des Moines firm. That's a really nice guy from Carroll originally, and they definitely have what they believe. Yeah, they do.
Yep.
So when you were there, the ISU Extension Service was there, which I know you still are, but it was very handy.
Right.
That's
easy to find.
It is.
And now that Sears is gone, you can see our banner much easier.
Yeah. I was out of town a couple of weeks ago and actually went to a penny store. The penny.
Oh, right.
The penny store here in town. I went to for 40 years.
Yep.
I got my jeans there, and
it's already been gone probably 2 years or more.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
Yep.
And I was a faithful customer of Sears for a long time. I bought TVs there and tools and tires and every single thing.
And I think the women really miss Yonkers. All their good sales and everything. So, it's just a different world.
Boy, it got different fast as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
I mean, the Amazon assault on traditional retail was enough. Now here we are in COVID and the election and just all kinds of craziness.
But we still keep trying to serve people, and we've got different programs going on, Mike.
What programs do you have there, Miss Linda?
Well, right now we are doing live Women Ingrained program.
Oh, that's right, Women Ingrained.
Yep, and so that I have 8 women coming to that, and that's been going good. And we do the social distancing, and we have them wearing masks when they come in, so that's been going great. And they all wanted to do the live in-person thing. And then Holly's going to be doing a Serve Safe program, which is
what kind?
A Serve Safe.
Serve Safe?
And that is going to be on August 31st. And those are people who have to go through training. If you are in the restaurant business, there's probably somebody in the restaurant who has been certified. They have to go through an 8-hour class and pass a test. And they learn about handling food safely, the flow of food preparation and service, cleaning and sanitizing, pest management, facilities and equipment. So they learn all that. So when you and I go into that restaurant, we know that the cooler has been, they're keeping track of how cold that food is. They're keeping track of how hot that food is. So we stay safe. So
sure.
Every restaurant should have one. And if they have gotten that certificate, they usually present that in the doorway when you first come in.
Excellent.
So that's like $150 for that class. And she's been doing those live now. There's a limitation of only 8 or 9 people to come. So you want to get registered for that. She's doing it in every county. So check out the website for when it might be in a different county, but it's going to be on August 31st. So you have to be signed up by August 10th for that. So, and then Mike, did you plant a garden this year?
I didn't.
You didn't? No.
Well, I live in a condo. I don't have.
Well, you could have had a bucket with tomatoes somewhere, couldn't have you?
By golly, I could have.
Well,
I need to come to the ISU Extension Service and learn how to do those.
Well, and a lot of people did that. They started a garden for the first time, in maybe 20 or 30 years, and now they're going to be having all this extra tomatoes or cucumbers or pickles laying around and stuff. So, canning and freezing isn't what like your mom used to do. Did your mom used to can? And my
grandmothers definitely did.
Yes, and so we want to make sure that the tomato, when you're mixing the recipes and you're canning stuff, you want to use an approved recipe to make sure that when you're canning, you just don't want you don't want to have bacteria in there or to make people sick. So she's having a Food Preservation 101 virtual course that is on August 10th. Like they're doing an hour one at 11 o'clock and another one at 8 o'clock that night and another one in September. But it's just to get, the hang of what food preservation is and pressure canning, hot water bath canning, dehydration and freezing, just the basics part of it. And on that note, if you have want to get your tested, you can bring your canning lid in to get tested. We don't need the weighted one, but they have to test the pressure to make sure those are going okay, and that's like $5 to bring into the extension office.
Sure.
And we can usually do that right on site, so the girls know how to do that. But food preservation is a big deal, and just to get updated on that and find out where the recipes are is a good thing to watch. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And even, that's a Zoom, and I think a lot of people are tired of Zoom, but that works out best. And,
we got tired of that fast.
Yep, I know. We all thought that was going to be fun, and you didn't have to drive anywhere, and you didn't have to get dressed up. But yeah, we got tired of that. So, yep. Another one we have going on. We have an estate and a succession workshop going on for if you own farmland.
Yeah.
And that will be going on August 13th and the 20th. And that registration's due tomorrow. Maybe you have some farmland that you want to see the best way to hand it down to the next generation, or you have some daughters or sons working for you now, how to make that plan go easy and what questions to ask the lawyer. And, we're not going to pick on a participant and say, a lot of farmers don't like to go where their neighbors might be, Mike, right?
Okay.
Except, for the coffee shop where they get to learn everything, but when it comes to workshops, sometimes they, but this isn't a sharing type thing. This is factual information given out to them stuff. So, yep. Well, what else would you like to know? Oh, did you know there's a drought out there?
Oh, Steve Peterson was here yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Steve of the Farm Bureau. Yeah, he was here.
How's Steve's fields doing? I haven't been over there lately.
Steve's okay, I think, but down around Carroll, pretty bad.
Right. Yep.
From what I understand.
Yep, and they're worried, and Grundy, Guthrie County, I think, and so they've been having drought meetings and drought webinars that a farmer could attend and listen to or watch later after the fact. And, there's no rain coming with that, but it is just...
you got a call over there, or what's going on?
Well, my husband I think my mother-in-law, she's doing fine. So,
well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yep, she's doing okay. So, since we are on air, so there's some drought webinars where the extension staff are trying to help the farmers and give them some options, what they can do, and and just to see how their crop may be or figure it out. So, those are going on too. So,
all right.
What else do you want to know?
Well, what's the price of pork these days?
I don't know. I think Daryl had said even like when he was taking them to Gallery, I mean, they weren't worth very much. And like you said at the beginning of the show, lockers have been pretty full.
Yeah.
And they've been pretty busy. When meat was at a shortage or you could only get so much, people decided to go to a locker. So I think people were even wondering. I think Nebraska had as an extension piece on how to butcher a pig. You could probably Google it and find that out.
I would like to know that.
Yeah, I don't think Iowa State Extension has
my
one.
grandfather, when I was a little kid, did that, and he took me. I've told the story several times. He took me around the barn and showed me how to do that. At the time, I was kind of grossed out.
Sure. Now you know. Yep.
But that would be great. That's in Nebraska, how to butcher a hog.
I think so. If you go into Nebraska Extension and probably type in how to butcher a hog, I think I saw a piece there. So yeah.
Back in the hog roast days, I don't know if you did this when you were a kid, but it was a big deal if we could.
It was a big deal.
Get a keg of beer and roast a hog all day, and I was usually the hog roaster. But we'd get up real early and shoot the pig in the head and then butcher it right there and then put it in the roaster. So I assisted, but I never really learned to do it by myself.
Sure.
So I don't know what good the skill would do me at this stage in life. I'm kind of over the hog roast and keg of beer thing. But I always like those sorts of traditional farm activities, really. And I like butchering a hog or butchering chickens. God, I got the life scared out of me when I was just a little fella, 3-4 years old. It's one of my earliest memories. I was walking down the alley behind my house, and all of a sudden here comes a headless chicken around the side of my neighbor's garage. And, of course, it's flopping around and there's blood going everywhere. And I ran screaming to the house, crying to my mother. And she said, it's okay. It's just what they do. And she took me over there and actually she explained the process. And my neighbors were nice people. And they said, yeah, this is what we do. And pretty soon they put me to work. I had to pull the feathers off the chickens, which was, as I recall, it was work.
I remember doing that too as a kid. Yep.
Putting them in a hot boiling water and holding them there for I don't know how long, and taking them out and trying to pull the feathers off of them. But they had a lot of chickens. I wasn't afraid of it anymore. Anyway.
My grandma had chickens too. So So let's see. So as you talk about people getting older, we remember our grandparents and whatever. Barb Wallen is doing a 5-series session on finances of caregiving. And what that means is, we're all at the age of Mike that maybe we have a mom and dad or an elderly person we're working with and stuff. And so this helps. What kind of resources do you need to help that person? As a caregiver, what's the financial risk of being aware of options and long-term financial well-being of that person?
Sure.
So Barb is doing that, and registration's due by August 14th. Or if you go to our website, which is www.extension.iowastate.edu/Webster, then you can find out all about all these programs. But that's a good one. I think I've attended that one, and it just makes you think about what you need for if your parents or somebody that you love, you have to take care of them, to find the paperwork in an emergency, like where's all the insurance, what do you need for if you're going into a nursing home. That's kind of hard to find if you need it in a quick situation. So it makes you think and makes you get your preparations ready.
Yeah, certainly.
So see, I told you we are keep on going, and even though we were shut down, we've been thinking about how we can continue on, and all these programs will be held with COVID-19 in mind, and 6-foot distance. The tables are spread apart, and even Calvin will be doing a leasing meeting on August 20th to talk about the farm bill and rental rates and legal updates and communicating with your tenant and whatever. So it's just that time of the year, and we just have to all continue on.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to find this Nebraska Extension Service.
Oh, is that what you're doing over
there? I
am
screwing around over here
okay.
trying to find Dinklaw's coming in at 4 o'clock.
Oh, I see. So we get to talk till then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we don't have to talk that long, no. But I was about to say, an old farm kid like Keith is going to know how to butcher.
I'll look it up for you tomorrow, and I'll find it.
Will you please?
I sure will. I have
Thank
it
you
down in my
very much.
notes here. Yep.
All right. Thanks a lot.
And so, what else? So,
okay.
You got to take a break?
No. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, the 4-H fair was a little bit different this year, but we do have some livestock going down to Iowa State Fair, like this weekend already, and the weekend of the 22nd. So those kids will be showing sheep and beef and swine, Lindsay said. So, that's an exciting time for them that Iowa State Fair can still do that for those 4-Hers who worked really, really hard. And then we have some clothing events, and those are all virtual. I think those 4-Hers like doing clothing selection, fashion review, or $15 challenge. Those 4-Hers are going to be doing it virtually somehow, and then some winners will be announced. And I don't know if they'll be doing some Facebook stuff, but that'll be interesting. And state fair communications will still be going on, so they'll still be able to do some state fair stuff.
Okay.
So, but fair was just different this year.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't have the figure 8 races for one thing.
Didn't have but they had some other grandstand events out there.
Did they?
Yep. I don't know for sure what they all had, but they were busy with other stuff. And the antique tractor guys had Singer out there. So yeah, they were busy with grandstand activities.
Didn't know that. I thought that would be the biggest threat for them or something. I was glad to see the kids got to show their animals.
Right. Yep. They did get to show their animals, so that was good.
Yeah.
So.
Is that still a pretty healthy thing? I mean, do a lot of kids still raise animals they bring for the fair or not?
Yep, we're still doing good with that for their sheep and swine, and it would have been a good show, but and horses too, and dog show and rabbit, and it's just unfortunate for this year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I asked at the start of this segment if anybody knew of a locker that had space. I guess not. The number is 955-1400, 955-1400 if you know a locker in the area that has any space. But from what I've heard, yeah, you came in telling me there wasn't much locker space, if any.
Yep.
And that's what I've heard.
Yep.
I mean, around the counties, around the entire area, I don't know if anybody's got any locker space. So.
Well, and then, Mike, did you know that our Master Gardener program here in Webster County, we have received a grant, and they have a community garden here in Fort Dodge.
Excellent.
And so they are taking that produce from the tomatoes or peas or onions, and they take that produce to the Salvation Army, and they take it to the Lord's Cupboard. And the Salvation Army,
terrific.
Yep, and so they will weigh the food. I think it was over, maybe last year it was only like over 400 pounds of produce they take, and so they've increased their beds that are raised so that way they don't have to bend over, and the tomatoes are right there, and so they take that produce, and like Salvation Army, they'll cook with it too for their dinner meals, for their lunch meals, and then if they have extra, they'll freeze that for the winter months. So that's a good program to have. And sometimes there's an app on the phone called Seasonal and Simple. And I might have shared that with you last year, but that is if you probably go into the extension website and just type in Seasonal and Simple, you can put the app on your phone, and then all that produce that is cheaper in the grocery store, or maybe you have that garden where, what do you do with all that zucchini, or what are you going to do with all those carrots?
Yeah.
You can go to that website, and it's got recipes, and it shares on how to take care of that produce and how to cook with it. So Seasonal and Simple, and just type into the Iowa State Extension website, and you'll be able to find that app.
That's terrific.
So, yep, and recipes too.
That's at isuextension.com? Or org, or what is it?
iowastate.edu.
iowastate.edu.
Yep. So it's www.extension.iastate.edu.
Okay. Linda Klein has been our guest. Thank you for coming on such short notice, Linda.
You're
it's
welcome.
It's always a great pleasure to have you here. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
Divine Intervention is online at yourfortdodge.com, on Twitter at JMike1400.
It's 3:36 News is coming up.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Ride the bus with the Dart and Midas Transit.
Midas is going your way. If you live in Hamilton, Pocahontas, Calhoun, or Humboldt counties and want to go somewhere special, Midas will take you there. Need to get to the theater, the hair salon, the doctor, the grocery store? Midas will take you there. Just call 573-8145. Call now and Midas will take you there in Hamilton, Pocahontas, Calhoun, or Humboldt County this summer. Midas, your connection to Jefferson Lines.
If you're in debt to the IRS, there's good news. Optima Tax Relief can help you resolve your tax debt right from the safety of your own home. Optima's award-winning team works with you online and over the phone, so you don't have to leave the comfort of your home to put your tax problems to rest. Optima's A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and standing by ready to help you today. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
From the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones. A shooting incident allegedly involving police left a woman dead here in Fort Dodge Tuesday night. Officers from the Fort Dodge Police Department and Webster County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to a residence on 20th Avenue South Tuesday night in response to a call about a woman who was reportedly suicidal and had multiple knives. The Fort Dodge Messenger is reporting a neighbor witnessed the interaction between the woman and police, and that neighbor reported that the woman ran at officers with knives in each hand and was shot by an officer. The woman was pronounced dead at the scene. The identity of the woman has not been released as of this time, and neither has the identity of the officer involved in the shooting. No further information was available at the time of this report. We plan to have more on this story as new details emerge. Representative Ann Meyer posted on her official Facebook page that the Iowa legislature is taking applications for their PAGE program for the upcoming legislative session. The PAGE program is a chance for high school students over the age of 16 to explore the possibility of working in government or becoming an elected official. People with questions can reach out to Meyer directly at her official legislative email, which is ann.meyer@legis.iowa.gov. The Webster County Public Health Department released a COVID-19 update Tuesday afternoon that says that as of Tuesday afternoon, there are 750 total positive COVID-19 cases in Webster County that have been confirmed. That's an increase of 49 cases since their last update last Friday. The cases are divided between Webster County communities and the Fort Dodge Correctional Facility. As of Tuesday, there were 409 cases in communities in the county. 321 of those have recovered and been released from public health isolation, leaving 88 active cases. At the Fort Dodge Correctional Facility, there were 341 cases, 283 have active cases. Of the 750 total positive cases, 388 are between the ages of 18 and 40, 227 are between the ages of 41 and 60, 88 are between the ages of 61 and 80. The conference approved a scheduling model for the upcoming college football season. Iowa State, of course, is a member of that conference. The conference has not published its schedule as of this time, but has announced that the league will play 9 conference games and keep 1 out-of-conference game. With those changes, the conference will lose marquee matchups like West Virginia, Florida State, Oklahoma and Tennessee, and Texas versus LSU. The approved model does give the Big 12 flexibility to move back the conference championship game to either December 12th or December 19th. Every Power 5 conference now has determined its scheduling model for this season, and the Big 12 joined the ACC as the only leagues in the country to keep 1 non-conference game. The Big 12 says it expects to start conference play in mid to late September and expects member schools to play their non-conference game before the start of league play. That's your Alpha Media News Update from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom. I'm Rob Jones.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD Weatherology forecast. Cloudy skies expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 75. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast skies tonight, chance for scattered thunderstorms, lows of around 61. Chance for scattered storms again tomorrow, highs around 82, more clouds than sun. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 73.
Here's a look at how the markets closed today. September corn up 2 3/4 at $3.11. December up 3 at $3.23 1/4. March up 3 1/4 at $3.35 1/2. May up 3 1/2 at $3.43 3/4. August soybeans down 1 3/4 at $8.82. September down 3 1/2 at $8.76 1/4. November down 3 at $8.78 3/4. January down 2 3/4 at $8.85 1/4. September wheat closed up 2 1/2 at $5.10 3/4. Soybean meal down $1.40 a ton at $2.82.30. August live cattle up 2 cents at $1.02.30. October down 2 at $1.07.45. August feeder cattle up a dime at $1.44.80. September down 15 at $1.46.47. August lean hogs down 25 cents at $49.45, and October up 27 cents at $49.30. From the farm desk, I'm Dwayne Murley.
Divine Intervention is online at yourfortdodge.com, on Twitter at JMike1400.
With your KVFD Sports Report, I'm Rob Jones. Fort Dodge native Judd Gibb will play in a PGA Major this weekend. Gibb is in the field at the PGA Championship in San Francisco in a group set to tee off Thursday around 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Gibb has played in PGA events in the past, but this will mark his first career PGA Major appearance. He's a long shot in the field, listed by Vegas Sportsbooks at 1,000-1 odds. Gibb is a former Iowa State golfer, and he's scheduled to be inducted to the Iowa Golf Hall of Fame this year. They're a member of the Board of Regents.
And was to be funded by Athletic Department operations and private giving. This is an excellent project and will greatly enhance this facility. Exercising an abundance of caution in these uncertain economic times, we have deferred this project 2 months to our September meeting.
The board is set to review all the athletic budgets for Iowa State, and the board cited the volatility surrounding college sports as the reason for not conducting that review at its meeting in July. The Big 12 Conference approved a scheduling model for the upcoming college football season. Iowa State, of course, is a member of that conference. The conference has not published its schedule as of this time, but has announced that the league will play 9 conference games and keep 1 out-of-conference game. With those changes, the conference will lose marquee matchups like West Virginia, Florida State, Oklahoma and Tennessee, and Texas versus LSU. The approved model does give the Big 12 flexibility to move back the conference championship game to either December 12th or December 19th. Every Power 5 conference now has determined its scheduling model for this season, and the Big 12 joined the ACC as the only leagues in the country to keep 1 non-conference game. The Big 12 says it expects to start conference play in mid to late September and expects member schools to play their non-conference game before the start of league play. I'm Rob Jones, and that's your sports update for Divine Intervention with Mike Devine on KVFD-AM 1400.
Michael Devine, the mayor of Manville.
It's a fancy title for a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Beef is a healthy, nutritious food. I'm Julie Harker with Healthy Living on Brownfield. The Federal Dietary Guidelines Scientific Report is open for comment, and the National Cattlemen's Beef Association wants everyone to know how healthy beef is.
Beef is a delicious tasting protein powerhouse that nourishes us throughout every stage of life. No other protein food delivers the same nutrient-rich package as beef, and about 170 calories on average per a 3-ounce serving of cooked beef. You know, it's a unique combination of high-quality protein, iron, zinc, choline, B vitamins, and it offers a variety of health benefits.
Danielle Beck with NCBA says through the cattle producer-funded Beef Checkoff, more than 100 research studies were shared with the Scientific Advisory Committee.
We wanted them to recognize all that science behind beef's role in a healthy diet. And, you know, thanks to the leadership of my colleagues on the Beef Checkoff side, I think we were successful in doing that.
She says they hope for some clarification about beef in the final dietary guidelines for 2020 in previous language that says beef is part of a healthy diet.
Those sentences, though, throughout the report are often followed by, statements that healthy diets are lower in red and processed meat. And we think this language is really confusing to the average consumer, and it overlooks the fact that the majority of beef sold in the grocery store today qualifies beef as a lean meat.
I'm Julie Harker with Healthy Living on Brownfield.
This is Brad Keselowski, driver number 2, Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Racing fans know that a quick pit stop to check the tires can give me the winning edge. The same is true for your car. Proper tire tread helps keep traction on the road in everyday driving. To check your tread, simply insert a penny, Lincoln's head first, into your tire grooves. If you can see all of Honest Abe's head, it's time to get your tires checked by a professional.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
Watch out! You got me! The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
The bakers of Village Hearth are proud to introduce their latest additions to their family of fine bread products. Pennsylvania Dutch Potato Rolls. Baked the old-fashioned way using quality ingredients like real potatoes and honey. Their unique recipe makes these the most moist and flavorful buns around, just like homemade. So once you've grilled your hot dogs, burgers, or brats to perfection, no ordinary roll will do. Finish them off with a Village Hearth Pennsylvania Dutch Potato Roll. Village Hearth, baked fresh locally.
Michael Devine at AM 1400.
In the name of justice and the American way of life.
With 60 rounds of freedom.
More from the Iowa Almanac in a moment. Iowa is a special place to live, especially in the summertime. There's something uniquely Iowan about warm sunsets on gravel roads and pork chops sizzling on the grill. Fresh Pickings magazine delivers a seasonal celebration of Iowa farms, foods, and communities to your front door. Published by the Iowa Food and Family Project, you can request a free print magazine subscription. at freshpickingsmagazine.com. In 1996, 9-year-old Amber Hagerman was kidnapped and murdered in Arlington, Texas. She was dragged from her bicycle while riding near her home. Her murder led Dallas-Fort Worth radio and television stations to work with police to broadcast alerts when children were abducted. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children endorsed the Texas plan, and soon Amber Alert programs spread around the country. In August of 2002, Governor Tom Vilsack called on Iowa law enforcement officials and broadcasters to come up with their Amber Alert plan. By the end of the year, a plan was recommended, and on March 13, 2003, Iowa became the 36th state with an Amber Alert plan. Iowa's first Amber Alert was issued August 5, 2003 from Des Moines. The mother of 6-month-old Hassana Bolin reported that he was abducted shortly before 2 in the afternoon by Hesson Mock. The mother stated the child was in danger. The child was safely located at a relative's home. Not all Amber Alerts have an ending like that one, but in many cases the Amber Alert has been instrumental in safely returning children to their homes. Iowa's first Amber Alert was one of those, on this date in 2003. And that's Iowa Almanac for August 5th. I'm Jeff Stein.
COVID-19 impacts are creating additional concerns for U.S. cattle and hog producers. Hello, I'm Megan Grebner, and this is Managing for Profit on Brownfield. COVID-19 isn't just impacting markets in the U.S. The livestock economist says it's having a global impact as well. In this Managing for Profit, University of Missouri livestock economist Scott Brown talks about the global demand picture for red meat and what that means for U.S. producers. We'll find out more on Brownfield right after this.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. They can help save lives by not having play dates. That's right. By replacing get-togethers with virtual play dates and video chats, they can help slow the evil spread of germs. And if your superheroes do go outside, make sure they continue their superhero wing by staying 6 feet away from others to protect everyone in America land. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
University of Missouri livestock economist Scott Brown says a recent report from the USDA points to increased strain on global imports of beef and pork.
USDA has projected for, and I'll start with import for 2020 around the world. If you look at on the beef side in particular, so from USDA's January report to their July report, their forecast of 2020 non-U.S. beef imports fell nearly 1 million metric tons. And when you look at it, it's some of the markets that matter to us: China, Japan, South Korea, Mexico, all showed a downward revision for 2020 imports in the July report relative to the January report. I want to talk about that because it just reminds us that, we always talk about how important trade is out of the United States, or beef exports out of the United States. And when you have a number of these other countries that are also battling COVID-19, it sometimes gets difficult to export more product when you're looking at countries that are also battling COVID-19. The hog side may be a little different. If we look at pork imports, I say a little different, and it's a little different all because of that small country of China. If it wasn't for the increase in China imports from the January to July report, we would be down. So USDA says total non-U.S. imports of pork between those two reports will increase 220,000 metric tons. And that's all because they revised China up 700,000 metric tons. If you look at Mexico, down 285,000 metric tons, South Korea down relative to where they were in January. All of those things just remind us that it's been a number of countries who have seen effects from COVID-19. And pork exports out of the United States certainly wouldn't be as stellar as they are without the growth that we're seeing in China.
And Brown says both the Phase 1 trade agreement with China and the impact of African swine fever have made a difference.
If we didn't have a Phase 1 agreement, would the Chinese be importing as much U.S. pork as they are? Probably not. However, ASF has certainly played into their need for more pork as well, and the U.S. has certainly been a reasonably priced supplier for them.
I'm Megan Grebner with Managing for Profit on Brownfield.
Here's active health patient Carol Main.
I was having a lot of knee pain, and my doctor said I needed a total knee replacement. Then I heard about Active Health Clinic's alternative options for arthritis surgery. Just one simple injection in a 30-minute procedure sounded promising, so I had it done and noticed improvement in my knee within a few days. Now, 6 months later, I'm back to full use of my knee with no pain at all.
Don't settle for surgery. For your free consultation, call Active Health Clinics Fort Dodge today.
When severe weather threatens, keep it here for the Severe Weather Advisor, brought to you by Riley Armstrong Plumbing and Heating. Plumbing emergencies don't usually happen during normal business hours, so Riley Armstrong is here for you 24/7. Call 955-2232. And the Fort Museum in Frontier Village, where history comes alive. Travel back in time and celebrate the heritage of Fort Dodge at the Fort Museum. Book your next special event at the Opera House, too. When severe weather threatens, stay with your friends on the Voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD.
Adventure Bay Water Park is now open at Adventureland. Ride the waves and soak up the sun in the oceans of aquatic fun. Fun for the whole family, and it's all included with your admission to Adventureland Park. 2 great parks, all for one low price. See our website for park and water park operation dates.
All right, this is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. County Supervisor Keith Dinklaw will be our guest in the next half hour. A shooting happened this afternoon here in Fort Dodge, and that has resulted in at least one death. Law enforcement responded to the shooting shortly after 2 o'clock today. The incident happened in the 500 block of South 19th Street. No further details were available regarding this incident as of the time of this report. We plan to have more on this story as new details emerge. Rough 24 hours in Big Dodge. News is next. This is KVFD Fort Dodge.
If you're a gearhead or not, you'll enjoy the Under the Hood Car Show every Saturday afternoon from 2 till 4 on the Voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400, KVFD, Fort Dodge.
Continuing a push for schools to reopen, I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. President Trump today in an interview with Fox and Friends again urging schools to get students back in the classroom.
This thing's going away. It will go away like things go away. And my view is that schools should be open. If you look at children are almost, and I would almost say definitely, but almost immune from this disease.
Critics say the president has no plan to safely reopen schools given the growing number of COVID-19 cases, including many infections of children. U.S. coronavirus deaths are now approaching 157,000, but President Trump says the nation's hotspots are improving.
The numbers are coming down very rapidly in Florida. They're coming down in California. They're coming down in Texas. They're coming down.
There are now nearly 4.8 million confirmed coronavirus cases across the country. Officials with the Chicago public school system announcing today that all K-12 students will be staying at home in the fall.
Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is ordering virtual-only learning for almost 400,000 K-12 students this fall, citing the coronavirus pandemic.
Based on our evolving public health situation and feedback that we've received notably from parents and faculty.
Lightfoot saying the announcement now to close public schools this fall is to give parents more time to prepare, though the decision also just days after the Chicago Teachers Union threatened to strike should teachers have had to return to their classrooms.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Coronavirus concerns will keep former Vice President Joe Biden and other speakers from attending this month's Democratic National Convention in Milwaukee. President Trump today saying he may give his convention speech from the White House as the GOP convention is scaled down for COVID-19 precautions. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
President Trump today telling Fox News he may use his executive powers to halt evictions and suspend the payroll tax if Congress doesn't act.
The president said when it comes to that payroll tax cut, if the members of Congress can't get it done, he has the right to do it himself.
We're negotiating right now. I have the right to suspend it, and I may do it myself. I have the absolute right to suspend the payroll, to do the payroll tax, and we call it a payroll tax suspension.
The president also saying that part of the problem of the talks are that the Democrats want, quote, a bailout for states run by Democrats which are doing poorly.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. Facebook rolled out its own version of social media rival TikTok in the U.S. and more than 50 other countries today. The new short-form video sharing Reels feature is now part of Facebook's Instagram app. President Trump has threatened to ban TikTok in the U.S. over national security concerns, accusing its Chinese developers of collecting personal information from users. Recovery efforts continue in Beirut after a massive explosion at the city's port.
Hadi Nasrallah was nearby when an explosion at Beirut's port sent a massive shockwave across the city.
Suddenly, I lost my, I couldn't hear anymore. So I saw something flash and I couldn't hear anymore.
He says glass was raining down. The damage stretches for miles, with streets littered with debris and the fronts of buildings blown out. Lebanon's president says the explosion happened at a warehouse holding thousands of tons of highly explosive ammonium nitrate. He calls that unacceptable. Simon Owen, Fox News.
Richard Branson's Virgin Atlantic airline is seeking protection from creditors as it tries to survive the travel slowdown from the pandemic. The UK-based airline says the Chapter 15 bankruptcy filing is part of a restructuring plan that the airline announced last month. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
From the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones. A shooting incident allegedly involving police left a woman dead here in Port Dodge Tuesday night. Officers from the Port Dodge Police Department and Webster County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to a residence on 20th Avenue South Tuesday night in response to a call about a woman who was reportedly suicidal and had multiple knives. The Fort Dodge Messenger is reporting a neighbor witnessed the interaction between the woman and police, and that neighbor reported that the woman ran at officers with knives in each hand and was shot by an officer. The woman was pronounced dead at the scene. The identity of the woman has not been released as of this time, and neither has the identity of the officer involved in the shooting. No further information was available at the time of this report. We plan to have more on this story as new details emerge. Representative Ann Meyer posted on her official Facebook page that the Iowa legislature is taking applications for their PAGE program for the upcoming legislative session. The PAGE program is a chance for high school students over the age of 16 to explore the possibility of working in government or becoming an elected official. People with questions can reach out to Meyer directly at her official legislative email, which is ann.meyer@legis.iowa.gov. The Webster County Public Health Department released a COVID-19 update Tuesday afternoon that says that as of Tuesday afternoon, there are 750 total positive COVID-19 cases in Webster County that have been confirmed. That's an increase of 49 cases since their last update last Friday. The cases are divided between Webster County communities and the Fort Dodge Correctional Facility. As of Tuesday, there were 409 cases in communities in the county. 321 of those have recovered and been released from public health isolation, leaving 88 active cases. At the Fort Dodge Correctional Facility, there were 341 cases, 283 have recovered, leaving 58 active cases. Of the 750 total positive cases, 388 are between the ages of 18 and 40, 227 are between the ages of 41 and 60, 88 are between the ages of 61 and 80, 35 are children under 18, and 12 are elderly adults over the age of 80. As positive COVID-19 cases increase, Webster County Public Health continues to remind residents to refrain from being in close contact with someone you're not normally around, especially if you're not sure of their exposure risks. If you're not sure of those risks, wear a mask. The Webster County Public Health COVID-19 hotline remains open by calling 515-227-7153. Fort Dodge native Judd Gibb will play in a PGA Major this weekend. Gibb is in the field at the PGA Championship in San Francisco in a group set to tee off Thursday around 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Gibb has played in PGA events in the past, but this will mark his first career PGA Major appearance. Gibb is a former Iowa State golfer, and he's scheduled to be inducted to the Iowa Golf Hall of Fame this year. The Big 12 Conference approved a scheduling model for the upcoming college football season. Iowa State, of course, is a member of that conference. The conference has not published its schedule as of this time, but has announced that the league will play 9 conference games and keep 1 out-of-conference game. With those changes, the conference will lose marquee matchups like West Virginia, Florida State, Oklahoma and Tennessee, and Texas versus LSU. The approved model does give the Big 12 flexibility to move back the conference championship game to either December 12th or December 19th. Every Power 5 conference now has determined its scheduling model for this season, and the Big 12 joined the ACC as the only leagues in the country to keep 1 non-conference game. The Big 12 says it expects to start conference play in mid to late September and expects member schools to play their non-conference game before the start of league play. That's your Alpha Media News Update from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom. I'm Rob Jones.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. Cloudy skies expected this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 75. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast skies tonight, chance for scattered thunderstorms, lows level off around 61. Chance for scattered storms again tomorrow, highs around 82, more clouds than sun. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 73.
This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. Keith Dinklaw is here, as well as Jeff. What's your last name, Jeff? Jeff Johnson. Jeff Johnson, right, who's... I have to report some unfortunate news here. There has been a shooting this afternoon. There has been a shooting this afternoon around 2 o'clock that has resulted in at least one death. Law enforcement responded to the shooting, at 2 o'clock this afternoon. The incident happened in the 500 block of South 19th Street. No further details are available regarding this incident as of the time of the report. We plan to have more on this story as new details emerge. I've had some unsubstantiated information on this, but I guess if I were you, I'd stay away from the South 19th Street area this afternoon. Again, the 500 block of South 19th. So I talked earlier about how unfortunate it was of a murder we had, not a murder, but a shooting in self-defense that involved law enforcement. And I thought it was Rod Strait, but now you're telling me I may be wrong.
I don't know the right or wrong. Just okay. I don't know yet.
I just said
I'm not going to say either way. Don't know.
It's terribly unfortunate.
Terribly unfortunate. That's right.
It was unfortunate for everyone. You've got my curiosity up now, Keith, because you came in talking about Paul Harvey, and according to YouTube here, this was a speech a short segment that he did in 1965.
Yep.
And apparently edited and reworked through the years. This is one version of "If I Were the Devil" by Paul Harvey when he was no doubt with ABC Network. Well, I don't know what's going on here. I can't even play this sucker now. What? Anyway, so we have Jeff and Keith here, and we have information, guys.
Yes, Jeff, go ahead.
Okay.
Hit it.
Hit it.
We'll start out with my news. There is some state legislation that passed in July of this year that requires members who serve on the Board of Adjustment and our Planning and Zoning Commission to reside in the unincorporated areas of the city. So we had a few of the members that were living in the city of Fort Dodge. Their terms obviously expired the 1st of July. So we're seeking to fill 2 vacancies on the Planning and Zoning Commission and 3 on our Board of Adjustments. So if anybody's...
I'm your man.
You have to live in the county. You can't live in the city.
Yeah, you have to live in the unincorporated areas of the county.
It's totally boring.
So you can't live in Badger, Vincent, anywhere, Duncombe, Clare. You have to live in the unincorporated part of the county. And the legislature passed that. I don't know why they did it, but it made it tough because it's hard to find people to serve on those boards.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it really is. It's tough.
And go right ahead.
No, and they play a very important role at an advisory board to
us.
To us. And the Board of Adjustment is a final decision-making authority, so that's a little bit different. But Planning and Zoning Commission, they serve advisory to our supervisors.
I kind of got hip to that years ago in the 1990s, mid to late 1990s. I was the chairman of the Television Commission.
Oh boy!
Of the cable TV Commission, and I thought, oh boy, I've really been named to a guy. I think Willie Patterson put me on it the first time.
Most liked guy in Fort Dodge.
Yeah, and I think Gail Van Alstyne kept me on. But anyway, it didn't take me long to catch on to the. Well, first of all, I had no authority to say anything.
Yeah.
But if somebody called the city ticked off about cable television, they gave my number. So I would sit home many nights.
Why ain't I getting this channel? Why can't I get that channel?
That's right.
I want HBO and I want the sports channel.
Out, and I'm ticked about this. So if somebody wants to be on the Board of Adjustment, they live in the county, not in. But now you can't live in a town?
Nope. It's got to be in an unincorporated part of the county. So
All
that's
right.
Anywhere that's not in none of the little towns, but you got to live in the county.
So
in the
Campbell
country.
couldn't be on the Board of Adjustment?
He could be, yes, because he's in between Colville, and he could be on it, but he's the supervisor, so he can't.
Okay. He can't be on because he's a supervisor.
And how do you apply?
They can contact me by phone, 574-3761, or stop into the county offices. there's a simple application to fill out, and we're looking.
And we really need somebody to serve because you got a couple important things coming up here in the next couple months that we need people to make that decision on. Yeah. So we really need 2 more people at least, don't we?
Yeah, and we do have a few applications in, but we're seeking
short a
more.
couple.
We're short a couple. So
it'd really be nice to get 4 or 5 people. I mean, so you got a selection.
Bemrick won't put me on any boards either. He thinks
I don't blame him. You're too controversial.
That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. He was afraid to put me on any boards.
No,
because I was the media.
No, we got a girl on one of our boards. She's really, really, really good at it, and she'd come to every meeting before she was on the board. And I goes, you really need to be on the board because you do a great job at these meetings. I mean, you ask the right questions, you come with the right stuff. I goes, you really need to be on this board, and she's on the board now. And she goes, oh, you won't put me on that board. And I goes, yeah, we will.
Yes, we will.
Because she does a great job. She really, really does. I mean, she's just great on that board.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, Doreen, I told her I was coming over, and the elections are coming up, and she's still shy 45 people for the election.
I got to
precincts.
get on there.
45 people need to help on these election.
I will help. I'll at least apply. Maybe Doreen won't take my application because I'm too controversial.
Oh no. and
what have I ever said that's so controversial other than the city council?
But it is a big commitment for that day. You have to be at the precinct at 6 a.m. and you can't leave till 10. So you're there all day. There's 3 people at this precinct. And
I'd help, but I got to work.
No, I know. That's what the problem is. Everybody's got jobs, so they can't, either get off that day or, it'd be nice if we could get some college kids or something that could do it, because they understand the computers and all that.
Yeah, it's usually been older people.
Yes, yeah, and with the COVID thing going on, the older people don't want to come to it. I don't blame them. You got a lot of people coming to the polls, so you do get paid $13 an hour, so it's not a lot of money, but you get paid pretty good check at the end of the day. But it is a big long day, and you can't leave. You're there all day. You bring your lunch.
You can't work a half day.
Nope. You bring your lunch. You bring your dinner. You bring everything. You're there for the whole day. And there is a school election coming up September 8th. It's for the school for some public measure bond, and then there's 2 school board vacancies. So that's going to be
$13 an hour.
That's big money, isn't it?
No.
I know. And it was worse than that. We just raised it a couple of years ago. It was only like $10 an hour. And I realize 13 isn't that much either, but it's a commitment for all day. And we need 45 people. That's a lot. And if we don't find them, she's going to have a hard time keeping the precincts open, all of them. Because you got to have people work them.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, we have to. So we have to find 45 people to work these things. And
a lot of people are probably in the same boat I'm in, but they could work a half a day.
And you just can't say you'll work. You got to go get trained. I mean, you got to learn all this training on the computers and how to start them up.
Do you get paid for the training or not?
I don't know. I don't know about that, but I know it's a big thing to get trained too, to start the computers up, how to turn them all on, and then to shut them all off at night and get all the right stuff out of them. So it's a big commitment. So in the engineer's office, they are working on Old Highway 20 south or east of Duncombe. That's being done at this time. And D43 east of Callender is being redone. So we have 2 big projects going on.
Yeah.
And we do have, I think it's 4 bridges being put in the southern part of the county.
No kidding.
In the next 2-3 weeks. Yeah. So things are happening in the engineer's office, and Jeff's got some stuff going on. Guess with the solar panels, we passed you can go ahead and explain that.
Yeah, we passed the solar ordinance on Tuesday. So that allows solar farms to be constructed by conditional use permit in the A1, A2, and mineral extraction zoning districts. So
A1 and A2?
Agricultural zoning districts.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll be anticipating a petition for a conditional use permit down the road here. Possibly a 1,000-acre solar farm northeast of Badger, northeast of Fort Dodge.
1,000-acre solar farm.
1,000 acres, yeah. So we'll see if it all comes to fruition.
Yeah.
This is going to take another year or 2, but we'll see what happens.
Where's the solar farm going to be at? By Badger, you said?
By the old town of Industry. It's between here and Vincent. It's about halfway between here and Vincent.
Boy, that must be an old town.
It is, yeah. It's a little town called Industry years ago. It's right on the tracks, about halfway between here and
You
Vincent.
remember it?
Absolutely. I grew up out there.
Well,
And
I know you grew up
it
out
was
there,
it was a little. They had a lumber yard and a grocery store and an elevator, and they had 6 or 7 houses there back in the day. 8. Yeah, they had little stockyards where they loaded cattle and stuff out of. No, it was a little thriving little metropolis in its day, I suppose.
So it's an ideal situation there. They have an existing substation they can tie into and generate their electricity and help supplement the grid.
Now, is this a county project or is
no,
it
it's a
Mid-America,
private project. It's a private project, and
EDF out of Minneapolis is putting the whole project together.
EDF out of Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just say private project, Jeffrey. That gets my conspiracy theorist.
And they're the same company that put the windmill project together.
They are.
Yeah, so they do.
I thought that was Mid-America that did the windmill.
Mid-American will probably somebody's going to end up with
by the end of the day, Mid-American will probably end up with it.
Yes, we don't know, but somebody at the end of the day will own the thing. But Mid-America or EDF puts the whole project together. They go out and get leases on all the ground and do all the permitting and do all that stuff, and then at the end, they sell it to somebody.
The town of industry.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You'll have to. Is there any marker out there that says this used to be?
There's nothing there anymore now. The elevator got burned down, and the old lumber yard's gone. There's a big grain bin sitting out there, and that's about it.
That's the only thing.
Yeah,
I suppose it's private farmland now.
Yeah, there was Fluxstead, and there was Industry, and there's a lot of
Fluxstead.
Yeah, there's a bunch of old towns out that way. They're gone. Homer, there was.
Yeah.
Homer,
I remember Homer.
Only the good survive.
Only the good survive. Yeah.
It's kind of It is kind of funny that there were a lot of little towns around.
Oh yeah.
My mother was born in St. Benedict, Iowa, up in southern Kasuth County, and I don't know how much is left of St. Benedict anymore. But
my mom grew up in the town of Brushy.
Brushy.
That's between Duncombe and Lehigh.
Really?
Yep. There's a little town called Brushy, and there's like 4 or 5 houses together down there in the town, little area. It's right on Brushy.
Is anybody in the houses?
Yeah. There's people live down there. It was a little unincorporated town. They had streets mapped out, and there's a blacksmith shop. My grandpa actually ran the blacksmith shop there.
Did he really?
Yeah, for years.
Wow. Yeah. There's gosh, yes. Of course, there's Terra in Northwest.
Terra.
There's, I think there's still something left of Terra, isn't there?
Nope, there's nothing there either.
Nothing.
Nothing. Just the crossing. It's the railroad crossing. Yep.
It's been a while since I've been up there, I guess.
Clock tower's coming along. We're about a couple weeks behind, 2.5 weeks behind, but they're getting some of the copper in now, and they might be starting some of that in the next couple weeks. They got all the slate shingles on the south side replaced with the new shingles. Mm-hmm. That's all done. They're working on the top of the skylight right now, putting all that in this week and next week. So the weather's been really cooperating. We haven't got any rain because they do have it. The skylight tore off up there and it's covered with stuff, but
sure,
we've been lucky it hasn't been raining.
Why are we 2.5 weeks behind schedule? Is
the wind?
The wind.
The wind, with the crane and the wind and working up there. Suppose. Every time it's over 20 or 25 mile an hour, they can't work up there.
I wouldn't.
No. Or something like that. It's the wind.
Yeah.
And then we're waiting on parts and stuff. We got some stuff from Italy, coming from Italy, some of the
That's
copper.
What I thought might be the problem.
Yeah.
You couldn't get all the pieces.
So, and we still haven't got
all the pieces.
So, and we still haven't got them all, I don't think. They
had
a meeting today.
You about have to be an artist to do that kind of
work. It's amazing. It's amazing what how they're making that stuff.
Well, okay. What is that? You guys beeping over there?
No, you're beeping.
No? Nobody's beeping?
Something in there.
Well, that's probably true. We're going to listen to this now.
You think you got it?
I think I do. I didn't turn up the volume on the YouTube thing. But, yeah, this is Paul Harvey, 1964-5, and here we go, If I Were the Devil.
If I were the devil. If I were the devil. If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. Thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth, I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Wow.
1965.
1965. I hope they play that at the Democratic convention. Ouch.
I mean, a lot of that stuff coming true today. It's just amazing.
Yeah, maybe we can get Joe Biden to repeat that. Probably
no,
not. Probably not. What, I went somewhere again that you didn't want me to go, or what?
No, I just thought that I heard that, and wow, that's really something that he did that in 1965, and it's coming true today.
Yes,
about
it is.
3/4 of the stuff he said is happening right now.
Yikes.
Just like he said it would.
If I were the devil.
If he was the devil, yeah.
Man.
Well,
oh, well, I
4:30.
guess that's it.
That's a good way to end things.
All right. Well, that's impressive. I'm glad you recommended it to me.
Let's hope the shooting comes out better than the last shooting.
Yeah. I should tell you once again that there has been a shooting this afternoon here in Fort Dodge that has resulted in a death.
Ooh, it's a result of death already.
Yeah. Law enforcement responded to the shooting shortly after 2 this afternoon. The incident happened in the 500 block of South 19th. No further details are available regarding this incident as of the time of this report. We plan to have more on this story as new details emerge. And I apologize to Rod Strait and anybody else if I thought I heard that the self-defense shooting yesterday was Rod, but if I'm wrong, let me take this time to apologize. What happened yesterday was truly an unfortunate incident, a tragedy for everybody involved, really. All right, Keith.
Thank you.
Jeff, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
During this challenging and unprecedented time, Gunderson's is here to serve with expert guidance and understanding to each family and their unique needs. We provide options for funeral, cremation, memorial, virtual, and webcast services, either presently or at a later date. We understand that grief does not wait. We are trained to help you walk this path to bring comfort and support. Every life deserves to be recognized and celebrated, whether it be together or afar.
White or wheat, classic or old-fashioned, with or without sesame seeds. With so many choices, selecting the right bun for your super-duper top-secret recipe handcrafted home-grilled burger can seem overwhelming. But relax, the bakers at Village Hearth have made it easy. As long as you see the familiar Village Hearth logo on your package, your grilling cookout's bound to be a huge success. Unless that is your unwanted relatives show up, then there's no bun on earth that can save it. Village Hearth Buns, baking our best for you.
Connect to this radio station from all across the country. Take us to the gym, shopping. How about a road trip? Listen to us now on the free iHeartRadio app. You'll never miss a moment with your favorite radio station. Download the free iHeartRadio app and search for this station so we can go wherever you want us to.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
From the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones. A shooting incident allegedly involving police left a woman dead here in Port Dodge Tuesday night. Officers from the Port Dodge Police Department and Webster County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to a residence on 20th Avenue South Tuesday night in response to a call about a woman who was reportedly suicidal and had multiple knives. The Port Dodge Messenger is reporting a neighbor witnessed the interaction between the woman and police, and that neighbor reported that the woman ran at officers with knives in each hand and was shot by an officer. The woman was pronounced dead at the scene. The identity of the woman has not been released as of this time, and neither has the identity of the officer involved in the shooting. No further information was available at the time of this report. We plan to have more on this story as new details emerge. Representative Ann Meyer posted on her official Facebook page that the Iowa legislature is taking applications for their PAGE program for the upcoming legislative session. The PAGE program is a chance for high school students over the age of 16 to explore the possibility of working in government or becoming an elected official. People with questions can reach out to Meyer directly at her official legislative email, which is ann.meyer@legis.iowa.gov. The Webster County Public Health Department released a COVID-19 update Tuesday afternoon that says that as of Tuesday afternoon, there are 750 total positive COVID-19 cases in Webster County that have been confirmed. That's an increase of 49 cases since their last update last Friday. The cases are divided between Webster County communities and the Fort Dodge Correctional Facility. As of Tuesday, there were 409 cases in communities in the county. 321 of those have recovered and been released from public health isolation, leaving 88 active cases. At the Fort Dodge Correctional Facility, there were 341 cases, 283 have recovered, leaving 58 active cases. Of the 750 total positive cases, 388 are between the ages of 18 and 40, 227 are between the ages of 41 and 60, 88 are between the ages of 61 and 80, 35 are children under 18, and 12 are elderly adults over the age of 80. As positive COVID-19 cases increase, Webster County Public Health continues to remind residents to refrain from being in close contact with someone you're not normally around, especially if you're not sure of their exposure risks. If you're not sure of those risks, wear a mask. The Webster County Public Health COVID-19 hotline remains open by calling 515-227-7153. Fort Dodge native Judd Gibb will play in a PGA Major this weekend. Gibb is in the field at the PGA Championship in San Francisco in a group set to tee off Thursday around 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Gibb has played in PGA events in the past, but this will mark his first career PGA Major appearance. Gibb is a former Iowa State golfer, and he's scheduled to be inducted to the Iowa Golf Hall of Fame this year. The Big 12 Conference approved a scheduling model for the upcoming college football season. Iowa State, of course, is a member of that conference. The conference has not published its schedule as of this time, but has announced that the league will play 9 conference games and keep 1 out-of-conference game. With those changes, the conference will lose marquee matchups like West Virginia, Florida State, Oklahoma and Tennessee, and Texas versus LSU. The approved model does give the Big 12 flexibility to move back the conference championship game to either December 12th or December 19th. Every Power 5 conference now has determined its scheduling model for this season, and the Big 12 joined the ACC as the only leagues in the country to keep one non-conference game. The Big 12 says it expects to start conference play in mid to late September and expects member schools to play their non-conference game before the start of league play. That's your Alpha Media News Update from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom. I'm Rob Jones.
This is AM 1400, KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge, 436. First of all, in the weather, it's overcast and 73 right now. Our day's high may get to 75, but I kind of doubt it. Cloudy and maybe some thunderstorms into the early evening and overnight. Tomorrow, chance of rain, sunny with a high of 81 other than that. On Friday, it'll be sunny with a high of 84. Going to be a windy day on Friday. Saturday, a chance of showers. Otherwise, sunny later in the day with a high of 90. On Sunday, it'll be sunny with a high of 92. On Monday, sunny with a high of 88. Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 87. Not much of a chance of rain here, and rain is kind of what we need. It's 73 degrees and overcast right now. Obituaries this hour brought to you by the historic Bruce Funeral Home at 923 First Avenue South, Fort Dodge. You may contact the historic Bruce Funeral Home by calling 515-576-5117 or online at www.brucesfuneralhome.com. Gary Vandepol has died at the age of 66. Mr. Gary L. Vandepol of Fort Dodge died on Thursday at the Paula J. Baber Hospice Home, Thursday, July 30th. Services for Mr. Vandepol will be held Saturday here in town. Gary Vandepol, 66 of Fort Dodge, died on Thursday, July 30th. Obituaries this hour brought to you by the historic Bruce's Funeral Home at 923 First Avenue South, Fort Dodge. You may contact the historic Bruce Funeral Home by calling 515-576-5117 or online at www.brucesfuneralhome.com. This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks finishing higher with the NASDAQ notching yet another record close. Strong corporate earnings results and upbeat service sector data outweighing a dismal private jobs report. With the Dow rising 373 points, the NASDAQ up 57, another record close, S&P 500 up 21. And shares of Zynga are surging in the extended session after the mobile gaming company released an earnings report that proved once again that homebound Americans are binging on digital games. Zynga delivering a strong quarter with revenue improving 47% to $452 million from a year ago. And Johnson & Johnson stock closing up slightly higher after the company reached a more than $1 billion deal with the U.S. government to supply 100 million doses of its experimental COVID-19 vaccine for use in the states once it gets regulatory approval. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Heather Barsky, invested in you.
Capital One checking and savings accounts have no fees or minimums and a top-rated banking app that lets you manage your money anytime, anywhere, even from your favorite hiking trail. With Capital One's app, you can check your balance, deposit checks, pay bills, and transfer money from wherever you are anytime you want, even when you're cooking dinner. Open a fee-free checking or savings account online in about 5 minutes. This is banking reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Here's Active Health patient Carol Main.
I was having a lot of knee pain and my doctor said I needed a total knee replacement. Then I heard about Active Health Clinic's alternative options for arthritis surgery. Just one simple injection and a 30-minute procedure sounded promising, so I had it done and noticed improvement in my knee within a few days. Now, 6 months later, I'm back to full use of my knee with no pain at all.
Don't settle for surgery. For your free consultation, call Active Health Clinics Fort Dodge today.
When severe weather threatens, keep it here for the Severe Weather Advisor, brought to you by Riley Armstrong Plumbing and Heating. Plumbing emergencies don't usually happen during normal business hours, so Riley Armstrong is here for you 24/7. Call 955-2232. And the Fort Museum in Frontier Village, where history comes alive. Travel back in time and celebrate the heritage of Fort Dodge at the Fort Museum. Book your next special event at the Opera House, too. When severe weather threatens, stay with your friends on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
Listen to this.
Making radio great again.
A shooting death this afternoon here in Fort Dodge. Fort Dodge police responded to a call at a little after 2 this afternoon. The incident happened in the 500 block of South 19th Street. Again, there was a shooting and at least one death in the 500 block of South 19th. No further details are available regarding this incident as of the time of this report. And, of course, we plan to have more on this story as new details emerge. You know, I call myself the doctor of truth, but perhaps that's Dr. Lee Heeb. She's already a doctor of orthopedics. How are you, Lee?
Hey, good.
All right. Well, I'm very good. I'm having a good day. It's August. How can we be having a bad day in August?
It can be really hot in August, but this has been beautiful so far, I have to say.
You know, the demand that we all wear masks at all times is starting to sound a little authoritarian. I mean, we have doctors and all these. Yes, I do think it's a little authoritarian. We have these physicians who are just disgusted and outraged that we don't wear masks and we can get this under control if we wear masks. To which I'm not a physician, but we can't really protect ourselves from the coronavirus.
You know, and I'm going to tell you, I didn't know this when I started this nightmare. You know, when I had to go into hiding and I sat next to my computer for 6 weeks researching stuff. But since then, I've been hooked into the community of doctors all looking at this from around the world. And so all this science literature is coming to me. But here's the funniest one. And so I find out that masks don't work. That's the bottom line here. Masks are a big lie. But the funniest thing is that the CDC, of course, knows this. Fauci knows it. Did you see the picture of him taking his mask off in the ballpark?
Yes, I did, as a matter of fact.
The CDC itself published a paper the other day, and it actually shows that, and they were looking at influenza, but if you know anything about viruses, influenza is about the same size as this COVID virus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus. And it actually is a little less transmissible. So it should be easier to contain than this. And the fact is that it was multiple the actual name it was published in Emerging Infectious Diseases, and the actual name of it, for anybody that wants to look it up, non-pharmaceutical measures for pandemic influenza in non-healthcare settings, personal protective environmental measures. Basically, they're saying, it doesn't matter if you're not in the hospital. Does it matter if you wash your hands? Does it matter if you sanitize your kitchen with Clorox? Does it matter if you wear a mask? And here's what they said. Here are their actual findings. We did not find evidence of a major effect of hand hygiene on laboratory-confirmed influenza virus transmission. In other words, when they really looked at the science, which means they actually did it in an area where there was confirmed influenza, and they checked everybody that they dealt with here, hand washing didn't make a difference. Now, most people think it does. It does make a difference. Trust me, it makes a difference for bacteria. But we're talking viruses. Bacteria are hundreds and thousands of times bigger. So these are tiny, tiny little things that are semi-alive, if they are at all, and they're just weird, and you cannot wash them away easily. So that was the first thing. Hand washing doesn't matter. As much as you might think it does, for viruses it does not. It says, we did not find evidence that surgical-type face masks are effective, either when worn by affected persons or by persons in the general community. So the idea that, well, I'm doing it for the safety of others is just nonsense, okay? It doesn't make a difference. And they found the same thing, no evidence that surface and object cleaning could reduce influenza transmission. Now, if it doesn't work for influenza, the dittos for COVID. Now, here's the other thing, and I'm giving a talk next week in Las Vegas, and I've got a picture of a tiny little dog and a great big dog, and then the idea is the great big dog is tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is about 3 microns. Okay, it's a big organism, tuberculosis, and we have masks that will screen out tuberculosis. Coronavirus is 0.1 microns. Okay, it's a tiny, think of that. It is, orders of magnitude smaller. So that the masks that we wear in surgery, which are made to screen out TB, they're completely hermetically sealed around our face. They won't even screen out this virus. Yeah, they screen out TB, and standard surgical masks just keep us from spitting into the wound. They screen out TB. They will not make a difference to this virus. And they've convinced people, this is why they started talking about droplets, okay? They've convinced the world somehow, including doctors, that these diseases transfer by droplets. And their logic is this: well, I can test these droplets and I find influenza or I find COVID. Okay, fine. I'm not saying you don't. When you cough, yeah, you cough out droplets with the virus in it. But that's not the primary mode of transmission. The primary mode is just breathing. And that you cannot stop with a mask. But you can give yourself headaches. That's what they found in the study. The healthcare workers, everybody got headaches by wearing a mask all the time. They were more often to get headaches, but it didn't stop the transmission of any of this stuff. So what's this really all about? And to me, all you need to know about masks are this. The federal government has just exempted all their politicians, all the big guys in Congress and the Senate and the big power players in D.C. They do not have to wear masks. The D.C. area politicians they're excluded from the mandate. Now, also the state of Wisconsin excluded all their employees. It's just, these mandates and this limitation on our freedoms are only for little people like you and me, Mike.
Yeah, I know
for
that.
the big politicians. And if anybody, that's the reality. Science doesn't care if you're a politician or not. If this disease were really deadly, it wouldn't care if you're a politician or not, right? So they know something that we don't. This is what technocrats, how they wield power. They have differential knowledge. They know this is all BS, but they are counting on the fact that you don't. And even more than that, they're counting on ginning up a mob of people that will come down on you for not doing what they say, like wearing a mask. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Divide, conquer. That's what this is about. So that's why we need to stand up for this. This isn't just about controlling a disease. This is about controlling us.
Yes,
now,
it is.
It's
Here,
time for people to stand up.
I want to run something by you here real quick. I thought all this insistence on masks and these sorts of things and controlling our behavior, I really think it's part of it would be that scientists and their allies in the liberal press and in politics, they're trying to distract us from the fact that they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't have a clue of what to do. They're working on.
I don't think that's it, Mike.
Okay.
I tell you, I think they know exactly what they're doing.
All right.
This is a new form of warfare against us. I mean, it's hard not to say this. Look, if you want to control a population, what do you have to do? You can't let them be independent thinkers that can arm themselves and take care of themselves. You have to make them dependent on government. And we've gotten kind of uppity lately. We've actually started solving our race problems and solving our internal dissent. And we started working together, and that's the death of tyrants, when people start getting along with each other. So I really think this is and it's not just in America. One of the things, I mean, here's a couple things. Now, Tony Fauci can look at these numbers just like I can. He can look at the fact that the worst place in the world for mortality from COVID is in New York State, okay? They have a 0.17% death per capita. But places like, Nebraska's 0.014. I think Iowa's about the same. It's very, very small. It's very, very small in most of the rest of the world. Yet and Nigeria is 0.00004%, 1,000 times better than New York. And yet he gave an award to New York for their COVID response. What? Why would you be? And then if they really cared about, and they've known, like I say, he's known about. People have found this literature. You can't hide it. Where he knew about hydroxychloroquine and how effective it was in 2015. And the CDC at least knew it in 2005. They knew it about SARS. They knew it about MERS. So why would he hide that? Again, we're not dealing with dumb people. These people were thinking ahead. The fact that, here's one. You know about this whole deal with Gates and Congressman Congressman Rush from Illinois, Democrat from Illinois?
No, I don't. I know who Congressman Rush is, though.
So this is not about. So this just demonstrates. This isn't ignorance of the fact. This is pre-planning. So Congressman Rush, a Democrat from Illinois, and he met with Gates somewhere outside, I think, the United States, actually. But he met with Gates, or Gates' people, about middle of 2019. This was long before you and I ever heard the term COVID, before we had to go to our basements and hide and cower in fear. Okay? But he had met with him to make sure that he had the nod to be the supplier of the testing equipment for this virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and what happened is that, you can look this up, that Congressman Rush passed or put forward a bill, and I don't know the status of the bill, but I can tell you the number because it's funny. But he put forward a bill that gave Bill Gates' company the kind of exclusive for government testing on this thing, apparently. I can look up the details, some of the details, but that's basically the point is, before you and I ever heard about this, they already knew about it. Gates was already doing things like staging a pandemic event where they used a novel coronavirus just as a war gaming. He'd already gotten Inovio ginned up to make a vaccine. So all this was before you and I heard of COVID. This is not an unplanned issue. And the kind of freaking weird thing here is, and people think this is crazy, and you say, oh, that's this crazy conspiracy theory. Look it up. It's House Bill 6666. You can't make this up. That's Rush's bill to this.
Okay.
So who knows? But I'm just saying that because it's kind of ironic. But the point here is that they were thinking about this 6 months ahead. This is a control mechanism. So much of the world is controlled. We just don't realize it. Our banking, our education. Look, why would we not think our health would be controlled? This is, and one of the best ways you can do it is fear. And one of the things that worries me is when you look at the psychiatric principles of instilling fear in people, and we know a lot about this through our CIA and through people that publish books on the psychology of stress and getting people to submit to your will. How they want terrorists to give them the dope on their fellow terrorists. Okay, we know how to do this. We've studied it now. The CIA and Black Ops and stuff, they've studied this for years and years. And they've published it. People can look this stuff up. There's Biederman's textbook, or Biederman's table of coercion, and it's how to make people submit. But one of the things you do is, after you give them the hard time and make everything crazy for them and take away their support structure and isolate them, you give them a little freedom for a while, and then you take it back away. Because that's a psychologically very debilitating thing. And I'm going to predict to you that's what's going to happen this fall. The reason they're coming down on us again about this, we've had a little taste of freedom. We've sighed of relief. We thought this was over. And now, boom, they're going to lower the boom on us again. And the governor of Iowa is considering a statewide mandating masks. And she's continuing to keep us from using hydroxychloroquine in an unrestricted fashion based on your doctor's concern for you as an individual, not based on numbers or the university's point. And I think those things are bad, and people should stand up to the governor's office about this. So I don't think anything good is going to come of this, and it bothers me that as you see more people not wearing a mask, people don't care. As you see more people wearing a mask, then you see people eyeing you when you don't. It's just a herd thing. So I do think that, I think this is planned. I don't think this is just because they don't know what they're doing. These are bright people, and there's tons of published. Now, I will tell you that a lot of doctors don't know about it because doctors are busy, like I always was when I was in practice. Didn't have time to read the literature.
Sure. And
like so many other things, unless you're down in the weeds and you're actually looking at the data, a lot of things, like masks sound good to the average listener, right? It makes kind of sense. Like fist pumping kind of makes sense. It's not somebody's sweaty hand. It probably doesn't infect you as much. It just doesn't work that way scientifically, though. That's the problem. Is that what feels good and what's actually true scientifically are not the same thing. Einstein had a real hard time dealing with quantum mechanics. I mean, he was not sure. He just couldn't quite believe that the world worked the way that those guys the Danish physicists and others were saying that it worked. And he couldn't quite believe it because it just didn't fit his sense of reality. And that's our problem with this. We accept things that they're not really real because they fit our sense of reality. In real life, Yeah, a mask does screen out you from sneezing on somebody, but that's not how this transmits. So.
All right, Dr. Lee Heeb has been our guest. Lee, that's very informative. Are we missing anything today?
Well, there's so much, but we can't do it all in one day.
I suppose that's
I just
right.
hope we're gonna have the freedom. I gotta tell you, Mike, I just hope we have the freedom to continue to talk about this.
I hope so.
Because
I hope so as well.
I see our freedoms getting zilched every day.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. Lee Heeb has been our
Thank
guest.
you.
Thank you, Lee.
Bye.
This is AM 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
Here's active health patient Carol Main.
I was having a lot of knee pain, and my doctor said I needed a total knee replacement. Then I heard about Active Health Clinic's alternative options for arthritis surgery. Just one simple injection in a 30-minute procedure sounded promising, so I had it done and noticed improvement in my knee within a few days. Now, 6 months later, I'm back to full use of my knee with no pain at all.
Don't settle for surgery. For your free consultation, call Active Health Clinics Fort Dodge today.
Adventure Bay Water Park is now open at Adventureland. Ride the waves and soak up the sun in oceans of aquatic fun. Fun for the whole family, and it's all included with your admission to Adventureland Park. 2 great parks, all for one low price. See our website for park and water park operation dates.
Michael Devine, the mayor of Manville.
It's a fancy title for a part-time job.
Michael Devine at AM 1400 KVFD.
If I were the devil, if I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Hi, this is Leslie Segretti.
And I'm Tom Kreitler, and you can hear the Money Pit every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 6 on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD, Fort Dodge.
Still no deal. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. More talks, but no action yet as lawmakers try to work out an agreement on another coronavirus relief package.
While we have started to generate some forward momentum, we need our partners in the White House to go much further on a number of issues, let alone the Republican Senate, where 20 or so Republicans, by the majority leader's admission, don't want to do anything.
Senate Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer, but Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says there is one thing Republicans won't budge on.
We just don't think it's remotely fair for the federal government to tax essential workers who kept working every day so Uncle Sam can pay their neighbors a higher salary to stay home.
McConnell said earlier today the Senate will be in session next week to try to work out a deal. President Trump with praise for Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, saying the state is a model in dealing with what he called the embers of the virus. The state had seen a surge in cases after Memorial Day, but put restrictions back in place to stop the spread. The Pentagon chief differs with President Trump on the source of the blast in Beirut yesterday that killed at least 135 people and hurt 5,000.
Defense Secretary Mark Esper appeared to side with Lebanese authorities who do not believe a bomb caused the massive explosion in Beirut.
Most believe it was an accident as reported. And beyond that, I have nothing further to report on that.
Esper spoke during a virtual appearance with the Aspen Institute. The defense secretary says the U.S. government stands ready to provide assistance, including humanitarian aid and medical supplies, to Lebanon. Tuesday afternoon, President Trump called the explosion a terrible attack and said his generals thought it was some kind of bomb. At the Pentagon, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Wall Street at the close, another rally as the S&P hits a fourth straight gain. The Dow added 373 points, the NASDAQ plus 57, the S&P gained 21. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
With your KVFD news update, I'm Rob Jones. A shooting incident allegedly involving police left a woman dead here in Fort Dodge Tuesday night. Officers from the Fort Dodge Police Department and Webster County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to a residence on 20th Avenue South Tuesday night in response to a call about a woman who was reportedly suicidal and had multiple knives. The Fort Dodge Messenger is reporting a neighbor witnessed the interaction between the woman and police, and that neighbor reported that the woman ran at officers with knives in each hand and was shot by an officer. The woman was pronounced dead at the scene. The identity of the woman has not been released as of this time, and neither has the identity of the officer involved in the shooting. No further information was available at the time of this report. We plan to have more on this story as new details emerge. Representative Ann Meyer posted on her official Facebook page that the Iowa legislature is taking applications for their PAGE program for the upcoming legislative session. The PAGE program is a chance for high school students over the age of 16 to explore the possibility of working in government or becoming an elected official. People with questions can reach out to Meyer directly at her official legislative email, which is ann.meyer@legis.iowa.gov. The Webster County Public Health Department released a COVID-19 update Tuesday afternoon that says that as of Tuesday afternoon, there are 750 total positive COVID-19 cases in Webster County that have been confirmed. That's an increase of 49 cases since their last update last Friday. The cases are divided between Webster County communities and the Fort Dodge Correctional Facility. As of Tuesday, there were 409 cases in communities in the county. 321 of those have recovered and been released from public health isolation, leaving 88 active cases. At the Fort Dodge Correctional Facility, there were 341 cases. 283 have recovered, leaving 58 active cases. As positive COVID-19 cases increase, Webster County Public Health continues to remind residents to refrain from being in close contact with someone you're not normally around, especially if you're not sure of their exposure risks. If you're not sure of those risks, wear a mask. The Webster County Public Health COVID-19 hotline remains open by calling 515-227-7153. For KVFD from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Anthony O'Neill, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today here on the show. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Gavin is with us in Yukon, Oklahoma. Hi, Gavin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can we help you?
So a little bit of backstory. I'm 18. My girlfriend is 17. She's a senior in high school this year, and I just graduated. She wants to go to college and major in art history, but she's told me that she doesn't think that there's much job opportunity there. She just wants to go and learn some more. And so I guess what my question is at what point is it my time to say something, or my time to say